everybody. Welcome to Lunch with the Boxer. My name is Gina. I'm going to be your moderator today. Today's session, we do have our Director of Financial Aid, Leslie Limper, here to present a little bit about those financial aid packages that you received and answer any questions that you have. Throughout the session, we are just going to go ahead and keep everybody's videos and microphones on mute to make sure that we have enough bandwidth so everybody can enjoy the session. And throughout the presentation, feel free to go ahead and enter in any questions that you have for Leslie in the chat box. You can send it so that everybody could read the questions, or you can send it to me directly, privately, if you're feeling a little shy, and I'll go ahead and read those questions aloud anonymously. Again, today's session is on financial aid, so all things financial aid, we are here to answer. If you have any questions that is a different maybe topic or theme, I am going to put in to the chat box here. That is our website that'll take you directly to our Lunch with the Boxer page. If you go on that page, there is a Google form that you can fill out, and then we will be able to hold on to those questions for the appropriate department when they do come in, and make sure to answer those questions when they hop in. And then you can also see our playlist on YouTube there. We are recording all of these sessions and we are posting it. So if you are one of those families who can't make it to the Lunch with the Boxer, we do have it for you to be able to view. And again, that Google form will be open for all parents. So even if you can't come to the live session, go ahead and submit those questions and we'll go ahead and answer it for you. So I am going to go ahead and actually go. Hi, Leslie, how are you? Go ahead and get
Hi, I'm good.
Thank you so much for hopping in today. I know we have a lot of questions about kind of how do we navigate this and all those great things. And so we'll go ahead and get started. And I did get a question, will the YouTube be available soon? Yes, we try to at least upload it within a couple of days. But if you go on to that link on the page there, it'll take you to our YouTube playlist. And we'll start adding all the video sessions into that playlist. So you can take a look at one link and see all the Lunch with the Boxers that we are having. So far, we've only had our first one last week with the Dean. And so it's a little quiet there, but we'll have a second video up after we conclude today's session. So I am going to hand this over to Leslie. Good morning, Leslie. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm great. Thank you, Gina.
Awesome. And I know you have a presentation here that I'm pulling up for you here. And then we'll go ahead and kind of jump to it. Again, make sure to go ahead and ask those questions while we are going through this session. I'll hand it over to you.
Great. Thank you, Gina. I'm Leslie Limper. I'm the Director of Financial Aid at Pacific University, and joining me today is one of my colleagues, Griffin Shawless. Griffin is a new financial aid counselor at Pacific. I'll have him turn on his camera and give you all a wave. And
hello, everyone.
Hello, there you go. This is Griffin, so he's going to be helping me out today. And we're just going to talk a little bit about financial aid at Pacific and what you are probably experiencing right now, and answer some of your questions. And then, as Gina said, if questions do come up during the presentation, go ahead and just type those into the chat box and we'll get those questions answered for you this morning. Okay, Gina, let's get started. Okay. This is the financial aid bunch, and so we are all here to help you and answer all of your questions. The financial aid office is physically open, and so if you're around, you can always stop by and see us. We are open on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. So we are still socially distancing, just to keep everyone safe. And so we're splitting our time in the office, but the whole financial aid staff is working Monday through Fridays from 9 until 5. And so if you aren't around and you need to contact us, just know that you can always contact us through email. That's financialaid@pacificu.edu. Or if you know your individual counselor's email, you can email them directly, and I'll show you how to find that out in just a couple of minutes. And so we really encourage you to drop us an email and we can get back to you. We can give you a phone. If you want to talk, we can give you a phone call. If you want to Zoom, we can do that too. We're getting pretty good at it. And so don't hesitate to let us know if you need some help. The up-to-date information is available through our Boxer Online portal. And so this is where you can really get 24/7 information about financial aid. You just need to go to boxeronline.pacificu.edu. You would have received an email when you were admitted to set up a Boxer Online account. And you can do that even if you're not sure that you're going to come to Pacific. You can still set up an account. This has very good information. If you do not have that email, or if you haven't been able to set up an account, just email help, HELP, at pacificu.edu. Gina will put that in the chat box. That is our IT help desk, and they can help you set up an account. Just tell them that you are a prospective student and you want to be able to access Boxer Online, and they'll help you set up that portal. It doesn't take very long. When you go to Boxer Online, you'll see the login box, and that's circled in red on this slide. And that is what you'll click on. And then what you will do when you get logged in, you will, when you hit login, it'll ask you for your username and password. You'll get that through, again, our help desk if you haven't set that up yet. When you get into the Boxer Online portal, this is the home page. This is what you will see. And you will see kind of around down in the middle of the page, a financial aid section. And there will be a link that says Manage My Financial Aid. If you click on that link of Manage My Financial Aid, that will take you to what we call financial aid self-service. And this is where you can go and find all about your financial aid package. You will, in addition to sending you a financial aid award letter, which you will get through the postal service, this is where you will go to find out what you need to submit to finalize your financial aid. It'll tell you all about the programs that you're eligible for, and will also give you a lot of links where you can find out additional information. So when you click on that Manage My Financial Aid, this is the landing page that you will see. And you will see at the very top bar, there is a financial aid menu. If you just hover your cursor over that financial aid menu, it'll give you a number of options, and you can go to each of those options and explore this portal. But this is what you're going to see when you first come into the portal. You will also see that there is a place to choose the academic year. So this is the portal that you're going to use for all 4 years at Pacific. It'll be a history of all of your financial aid if you decide to come to Pacific. So right now, you're going to want to choose the 21-22 academic year. The financial aid self-service checklist, which is on that first page, is going to tell you what you need to do to finalize your financial aid eligibility. And so you can go through each of those. You can click on each of those links in the checklist that will take you to where you will need to go to finalize your financial aid. Then an expanded view right next to the checklist are some financial aid self-service links. And these links will also help you get some more additional information, help you go to the places that you need to go. One thing I will point out in those links on the right-hand side is the privacy release. So we are allowed to talk to students about their financial aid information, but really to talk to parents once your student is enrolled at Pacific, we need what is called a privacy release. And students can do that right now. Right now, since you're not a student at Pacific, we can still share that information with your parents, but once you enroll in the fall, we cannot share information with your parents until we have a privacy release. And so this is something that over the course of time, students will want to do if they want us to be able to talk to their parents. The other link that I will point out is the secure document upload link. A lot of times you're going to be asked to provide additional information or documents to finalize your eligibility for financial aid. And due to security purposes or reasons, we recommend that you do not email those documents. We have a secure document upload where if you click on this link right here, it'll take you to a box folder, a secure box folder where you can upload any documentation. That link is also available on the landing page on the financial aid website on the pacific.edu website. So there's a couple of different places you can get to that link from. If you look at the bottom of this landing page, one more thing about this landing page. If you look at the bottom of this landing page on financial aid self-service, you will see your financial aid counselor listed. You have an assigned financial aid counselor. Students with the last names of A through L are assigned to Griffin. Students with the last names of M through Z are assigned to Stacy England, who is our other financial aid counselor. If you want, you can click that, I guess it says contact financial aid counselor. You can click on that link. It'll open up an email to your specific financial aid counselor, or the phone number will give you the exact phone number to contact your financial aid counselor. Again, where financial aid counselors are working remotely, and so they won't always answer their phone. So the best way to set up a phone appointment or a Zoom appointment with your financial aid counselor is through email. Okay, now Gina. Okay, one of the selections in the menu is required documents. The Fafsa processors, the Department of Education selects a certain number of Fafsas for what is called verification. So if you filed a Fafsa, which is a free application for federal student aid, and you were selected for verification, you might need to submit some required documents to our office to finalize your eligibility for financial aid. And all of those documents are listed under the required documents tab. So if you just click on that menu link, you will see all of the documents that you need to submit. Once you submit one of those documents and we have processed it, that incomplete will change to complete, and it'll be green and it'll all be good. So you can tell exactly what you need to do. All of these documents have a link to them. And so if you click on that link, that will take you to either the form that you need to fill out or the more information about that particular requirement. And so if you go through those, if you have any questions about any required documents, don't hesitate to get in contact with us. If you choose the My Awards menu, that will take you and show you all of the awards for which you are eligible. And that is one of the menu selections. So if you click on My Awards, you'll see that you have pending awards, and some of you may have estimated awards. A pending award means that that award is finalized, you're eligible for it. All you have to do is accept or decline it. And so you can click on right under the name of the award, it'll say accept or decline. You'll click on that link, it'll open up a box, and you will see where you can accept or decline that award. Right under the blue box that you see on your screen, there's also a description. If you click on that, the little caret arrow, there's also a description of the award. So if it's a loan, you can go in and see the interest rates. If it's a scholarship, you can see what the renewal criteria is. So go ahead, it's not intuitive, but go ahead and click that little arrow there, and that'll give you some more information about the award. If your FAFSA was selected for verification and we need additional documentation to finalize your eligibility for financial aid, your awards will be listed as estimated, and estimated awards cannot be accepted. And so you don't have to, you're not doing anything wrong. You don't have to worry about accepting those until they become pending. So if there are some estimated awards on there, go back to that required document page and see what documents are required to finalize your eligibility for those resources. On the award offer tab, you will have an award letter. And once you go through and you accept or decline each of those awards that you've been offered, you will go to the award letter section and look at your award letter and read through that. And actually, once you check all of the accept or decline all of my awards, it'll also remind you to go and sign your award letter. And the award letter is actually quite lengthy, so I'm just showing you the top of it here. This is what the award letter page looks like, or the offer letter page looks like. And you'll see that there is right under the 2021-22 sign, there is an offer letter. If you click on that, that will open up a PDF that you can print off just to, for your own information, or if you want to share that with your folks. There is also an offer letter history. So if we send you an email and say your financial aid has been updated, please go online and look at your new financial aid award. You can go over to that offer letter history, and that will have a history of all of your financial aid packages at Pacific. So you can see what has changed. You can compare the two awards and see what has been changed. You will also note that your cost of attendance will be also listed on this page. And we break that cost of attendance out by what is called direct costs and indirect costs. So under the category of direct costs is always going to be tuition and fees. That is something that the university is going to charge you for, is tuition and fees. If you have indicated that you are going to live on campus, your direct costs will also include on-campus housing and food. If you have indicated that you are not going to live on campus, you still have to pay for housing, right? You still have to eat. And so those costs will be estimates of listed under indirect cost as estimates of what we expect it's going to cost you to live off campus. Those are not going to be charged by the university, but just estimates of what we think your costs are going to be. So once you reviewed this award letter and read all of the terms and conditions of the award, which are going to be listed at the bottom of this page, you'll click a box that will indicate that you are accepting the terms and conditions and signing your award letter. And that should be, if you've completed all of your required documents, the last thing that you need to do. There's just some important stuff that I'm going to go over just to keep in mind. Students, check your email. I know it's hard. We communicate, we're still in the old-fashioned communication, using the communication tool of email. I know that a lot of you probably prefer texts, but we do still email students. And so we send out a lot of important information through email. And so throughout your 4 years at Pacific, starting right now, you're going to want to check your email. Parents, remind students to check their email. I know how hard it is. I have 2 boys who are still pretty clueless about email. But if you check your email, you're going to get all of the information you need in order to manage your financial aid. Get used to also using this Boxer Online portal for any financial aid updates. Right now, we are sending paper award letters if there is any change to your financial aid award. So for example, we just now went through and we got all of the talent award nominations from the faculty. We're just in the process of sending out all of those revised financial aid awards that will include those talent awards. And so that will come by paper. It'll also be available on our financial aid portal. But after May 1st, which is the deposit deadline, admission deposit deadline, all change notifications will be made online. We'll no longer be sending you a paper award letter. So you want to make sure to regularly check that financial aid portal for any updates. There is on the financial aid self-service a place to report any outside scholarships you receive. And that is one of the menu items. Again, if you go to that landing page in financial aid self-service, you hover over that menu. One of the menu items will be report outside scholarships, and that will give you a place to report all of your outside scholarships. That is a requirement that we have, that you report all of your outside scholarships to Pacific. You will also, when you're looking at that checklist, if you have decided to accept a federal student loan, there is also some things that you need to do to finalize that loan. And so the federal loan processing for 2021, oops, I see a typo, it's actually 2021-22 academic year, is available at studentaid.gov. And all of those links in that self-service portal will take you there and will outline what you need to do. Again, if you have any questions on any of those processes, don't hesitate to give us a call or drop us an email. If you have changing circumstances, or if you had changing circumstances, again, don't hesitate to contact us. So we know that families are really unsure about the future. We're still in the middle of a pandemic. I wouldn't have, if I had been talking to you last year at this time, I would have probably figured that that would be over by now. We know that families are still going through some adjustments. And so we can certainly take changes to a family's financial situation into consideration. If you have noticed, the Fafsa is using 2019 information. It's now 2021. And so that information is pretty out of date that's on the Fafsa for some of you. And so we have begun to review requests for reevaluation, and we will continue to do those. We do those actually up to the beginning of school and sometimes throughout the school year, depending upon what's happening with the economy. And so the best way to let us know about your circumstances, any changes to your circumstances, is to just email us, and email us at financialaid@pacificu.edu. And that email will go to your financial aid counselor, and your financial aid counselor will get in touch with you about the kinds of documentation we need to consider your request for reevaluation. There is an additional resource for parents, and one of the resources that our families use frequently to help with educational expenses is the Direct Parent Plus loan. This is a federal program, and parents can borrow up to the cost of the student's cost of attendance, less any financial aid. Right, the interest rates are pretty favorable right now. Right now, the interest rate is 5.3, and that's a fixed interest rate for the life of the loan. Interest rates are reset annually each year on July 1st. And so the interest rate for the plus loan for the students that are coming in for the 21-22 academic year will be set on July 1st. But again, it's currently 5.3. We're hoping that if anything, it'll go down, not up. The application for the Parent Plus loan is available at studentaid.gov, and there's a lot of good information on that site about this loan. It is a credit-based loan. What they're looking for is the absence of negative credit. And so when you apply for the loan, you do go through a credit check. The payments the nice thing about this loan is the payments can be deferred while the student is no longer enrolled. Parents can make payments if they want to, but they can be deferred until the student is done with school or no longer enrolled. There's a 10-year standard repayment period. Payments can be extended. I think the longest repayment period is 25 years. Interest payments may be tax deductible. And of course, I'm not a tax expert, but I do like that deduction each year that I've gotten for my own Parent Plus loans that I took out for my kids. Interest does begin to accrue once the loan is dispersed. And so But again, you can defer interest and principal payments until the student is out of school, or if you choose, you can make payments while your student is in school. So pretty flexible resource. If you want, the Parent Plus loan is in the student's name. If you want the any additional loans to be in the student name, there are private alternative loans that the student can borrow through private lenders. Students will generally need a creditworthy cosigner, although cosigners can be released on most of these loans after 24 months of consecutive on-time payments. By law, we, Pacific University, cannot recommend any programs or lenders that offer private alternative loans, but we do have a tool that can help you kind of think about the thing, think about the things you need to think about when borrowing under an alternative loan program. And I gave you the link there for a tool called Fast Choice. It's a great tool, kind of walks you through what alternative loans, what programs are available, and what the general criteria might be. When you're thinking about a alternative loan, you do need to consider three things. One is the interest rate, two, the repayment options, and three, grace periods. So some of the loans, for example, if your student is planning to go to graduate school, and if they have to start repaying that loan once they graduate as an undergraduate, that might not be a good loan for you. So all of these loans will have different terms, and that Fast Choice tool can help you kind of research all of those. So we encourage you to stay in touch. We are on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram at Pacific U FinAid. And what we do on all of these platforms, social media platforms, is we post outside scholarships. So we get outside scholarships from different organizations asking us to, let our students know about scholarship opportunities. And so we vet those and we post those. We also post all of our deadlines for Pacific scholarships. We make announcements, deadlines for filling out forms, next steps that might be happening, helpful tips, financial literacy tips. So there's really a lot of information, and this is one way that we can communicate with you and get out that important information to you. And so we encourage you to go ahead and stay in touch, follow us on social media. And again, don't hesitate to stay in touch, contact us by email or give us a call, and we can get your questions answered. I've put some additional resources on this slide. The federal student aid does have information about what's going on with interest rates, loans, additional funding during the coronavirus. And so I've given you that link there. Of course, the Pacific University Financial Aid Office has our web pages, and we try and keep those updated. And that can give you a lot of information. If you want any information about our COVID-19 programs at Pacific, there's the link there. And of course, I have encouraged you to contact us at financialaid@pacificu.edu. So thank you that was a lot of information, I know, in a very short period of time. And so I am here to answer your questions and hopefully get all your questions answered.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Leslie. So I'm going to slowly kind of go through the chat. I had that up so I couldn't kind of keep track, but we did have a questions that came in the week prior. And one of the questions that came in was regards to tuition cost. I qualified for a merit scholarship, including the senior preview day scholarship. What if the remaining cost still remains a large barrier for me and my parents? What are my options besides the financial aid awards and scholarships? So I know you touched a little bit on those Parent Plus loans, but I think the student was just wondering what other scholarship options, if there are any.
Right. And so as I mentioned, we have started sending out our talent awards. And so watch, if you applied for a talent award, watch those and make sure that you don't miss that notification. If again, you filed a Fafsa and have changing circumstances, or even if your circumstances have not changed and you, just there's certain things that are circumstances that you have that are keeping you from being able to pay for educational expenses, you can still reach out to a financial aid counselor and just say, hey, I'm having a hard time. Can you take these circumstances into consideration? It doesn't necessarily have to be a job loss or something like that. The other thing is the PLUS loan application. A lot of our families use the PLUS loan to pay for those additional costs. And but it can be a very individual circumstance. And so if you do want to have a conversation with a financial aid counselor, we're happy to have that conversation with you. Sometimes there's things that we can do, sometimes there's not, but we'll certainly try.
Perfect, thank you. And I think you answered that other question that came in last week, which was what scholarships do you recommend? The other one, you already touched base on it, but we're gonna just double ask. When would I be notified about world language scholarships or other talent award decisions?
Sure. We have given all of the faculty their release to go out with all of those awards. And so I know that faculty have contacted some students already. And so there are a couple of talent awards that are ongoing. So I know that music has not quite reviewed all of their auditions. And so that there are some additional music awards that still need to be decided. And so, but if you do have any questions, if you haven't heard and you have applied and have a question, you're welcome to reach out to the financial aid office and we can kind of help you research that.
Perfect. And is there a way to check our Boxer online info? So Leslie did go over that real quickly. Again, if you don't have your Boxer online set up yet, go ahead and email help@pacificu.edu. I just added that into the chat box there. That's our tech help desk. And what they will do, just let them know that you are a current high school senior who's applied and it's been admitted. And what they'll do is they'll reset the login information. So you'll put in a new password and be able to log into your Boxer portal that way. So the other question that came in, which is a great question, do the students and parents share the same Boxer online account, or do parents have their own account for the students?
Unfortunately, the Boxer online account for financial aid is a student portal. And so parents do not have access to that. They cannot make their own login. They cannot have access to that. That is a little bit different for our payment portal. And so, one would think that payment and financial aid would be one and the same, but it's not. Parents can get access to the parent portal for payment if a student gives them access. And so that's a little bit different from financial aid. So unfortunately for financial aid, it's just the student access, and the student needs to, sit down with the parent and share that access with them.
If we already started our Fafsa on fafsa.org, will that affect getting it to Pacific?
There is still plenty of time to file a Fafsa. And so we recommend that you go ahead. There's plenty of time, but you want to know as soon as possible about any other financial aid resources that are available to you. So we recommend that you finish that up. And as soon as we get that, we will let you know of your eligibility for any additional resources. So a lot of students already have their scholarships. They know what those are. But if you need additional resources, get that FAFSA finished up. And usually it's not taking very long. Usually once we get your FAFSA, we'll get a financial aid package out to you. We do those on a rolling basis.
Perfect. And then the next question that came in is, The site I received for reviewing my application is a lot different than the Boxer online portal. Was asking for the correct link. So I just put that in there. It's boxeronline.pacificu.edu. That is the correct website for you to be able to log in to view your Boxer online account. Is the Boxer portal only for admitted students?
It's only for admitted students, correct. And so once you get that admission letter from your from Pacific, then yeah, you'll be eligible for the to set up an account.
Perfect. If you decline a portion of the financial aid now, can you change your mind during the academic year? That's a good question.
Yes, you can always change your mind. And I should mention that. So for example, the financial aid package, you do not have to accept all of it. Now, most students do choose to accept all the grants and scholarships. You want to do that. But if you don't want to accept a loan and you have the resources, to make up for that, you can decline a loan. You can decline the work study. And then if you change your mind, halfway through the year and decide, oh, I really do need that loan, or, oh, I really would like to work, you can always just get in contact with us and we can redo that. We can reset that again for you. Then the other way is true. If you, go ahead and accept the loans and then decide, ooh, I don't want to do that, just get in contact with us and we can always change that.
Perfect. Can students work on campus even if they don't show work study on their financial aid award?
Students can definitely work on campus, even if you are not eligible for the work study program. So the work study and our regular student employment program, to a student, look exactly the same. Everything's happening, the students are working their hours, they're getting paid every 2 weeks. Everything for the student is happening exactly the same. It's just, which pot of money that we're paying you out of. So Pacific has a online job board. And so you just go to, if you look on student employment on Pacific's website, it'll take you to that online job board, and you can, what is there now are the jobs that are available now. It's not what's going to be available in the fall, but those will all be updated. And the work study jobs will be labeled as F is in Frank, S is in student, W is in work, so federal work study, FWS. The non-work study jobs will be labeled NWS, so non-work study. And so you can take a look at what is up there now. There's a lot of students already working, so there's not a whole lot of opportunities there, but there are a lot of opportunities for students to work on campus if you want to. And our career and advising center kind of helps us and helps students find jobs. They know where the jobs are. They can help students get set up with that online job board, get notifications from that. And so that usually starts pretty close to the start of school in the fall is when students start looking for jobs. We don't assign jobs because we that students know better what they want to do.
Awesome, thank you. And so we are getting a few more questions coming in, which is great here. I do have some questions about Fafsa, and I think the best way to ask this question might be to go back to step one. Could you explain what exactly is Fafsa and how does that kind of compare with Pacific grants and scholarships? I think there's some confusion there for some students.
Sure. The Fafsa is the free application for federal student aid. And that is the application that you file if you want to be considered for financial aid at any school. So if you are looking at PCC, Pacific, Portland State, University of California, San Diego, it's the same application. And so that form is available at fafsa.gov. And so you go in, you set up an account to file a Fafsa, you go in, and that form collects both demographic and financial information from you and your parents. And based on that information, you may qualify for federal grant, loan, or work programs. So that is kind of the national application for financial aid. Then Pacific uses that Fafsa application to determine eligibility for our own need-based funding. So in addition to those merit scholarships that admissions is so nice to send you a letter about, in addition to those merit scholarships, we also have grants that don't need to be repaid based on that FAFSA information and based on your family's what is called financial need. And so if you need additional resources for college and you haven't filed a FAFSA, there's still time to do that. We recommend that you do that. When you do go on to file the FAFSA, it'll ask you which schools you want the FAFSA to be sent to. And so you would list, you know, all the schools you are considering, like Pacific or Portland State or PCC or all of those different schools. We get that information electronically and we match that up with your admission record. If you've been admitted and we get a FAFSA, then we send what is called a financial aid package. And how that works is that we include all of the resources that you're eligible for. So all of your Pacific scholarships, any grants that you might qualify for through Pacific, but also state and federal funding. So we kind of put together a package of all of the different resources.
Perfect, thank you. So that question that came in was, can FAFSA help generate more scholarship opportunities? And I would say yes, absolutely. It would be on need. Yes. So you'll get some more of those grants.
And if you are, let me just add real quick, if you are an undocumented student in Oregon, there is you can't file the FAFSA, but there is an ORSA form that you can file, ORSAA, I think. Anyway, that is available at OregonStudentAid.gov. Gina, if you'd put that in the chat box, OregonStudentAid.gov, you can file the ORSA if you are an undocumented Oregon resident.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. I know that's a question that we have from our families as well. If we submitted a financial aid letter to, financial aid to consider our change of income due to COVID, how long will it take for families to kind of hear back from financial aid?
We are working on those, trust me. It hasn't gone into cyberspace or anything. We are actually working on those. What we were trying to do was to get the talent awards out and everything, and we did. We got those done. And so now we're going back and looking at all of the information that we have received from families. I would say at this point, it's taking a couple of weeks, unfortunately. We're hoping to speed that up because we know that you guys have decisions that you need to make. And so we're trying to focus on those now that we've got the talent awards out and get back to families, but probably give us a couple of weeks to get all of that information together.
And the next question I got that came in, if you have $529 to apply, do you do that through the financial aid officer or through admissions?
Actually, that is, if I'm understanding the question correctly, that is done through our business office. Are you talking about a 529 plan, Gina?
I think that might be what they're referring to. I'm just kind of reading.
That is what I was referring to.
Okay,
so 529 program, not $529.
Yep. Yep, that is done through our business office. And so what we do, we have a lot of families that do have 529 plans. And so our business office is the one that does the billing. They will bill your 529 plan directly, or however your individual plan works. And so Gina has put that email address in there. It's cashiering@pacificu.edu. They're pretty used to working with 529 plans, and so they can get that information together for you.
Perfect.
And the bill.
Absolutely. If you need help understanding the financial aid differences between Pacific and other schools, who should they contact?
We can do that. And what the I would start out with your admission counselor. Admission counselors are really good at helping you do that, helping you compare financial aid packages. And actually, they have a handy dandy little Excel spreadsheet that they can work with you on and help you do that. Of course, you're welcome to contact the financial aid office. There's 2 undergraduate counselors in the financial aid office and many more in the admission office, so you might get a faster response from admissions, but we can certainly help you do that and sit down and help you figure out the cost, because what we want to do, and our admission counselors are the same, what we want to do is make sure that you understand the cost and that you're making the best choice based on the best fit for you and your family.
Absolutely. Reach out to your admissions counselors. We're here to help you with that. It always helps if you can send us a copy of the letter so we can kind of do the calculations for you. And I've done it in the past. I had a parent reach out to me and tell me, you know, Gina, you guys keep being the top choice for my student, but you guys are the most expensive out of these 5 other colleges. And I asked her to send me all the letters, and we did the calculations. I calculated it 3 different times and had 2 of my colleagues come in and double check to make sure I was doing it correctly. And it did turn out that we were actually the cheaper option out of all the schools. So the unfortunate thing about financial aid letters are none of them is standardized. It doesn't come in the same language. The way it's set up and the calculations are done look really confusing. And so we're here to help you with that. Make sure to reach out to your admissions counselor and we'll be able to help with that. So
absolutely.
Yeah. And the next question that came in is, what is the work study program? And how can we apply for the work study program?
The application for the work study program is the Fafsa. And again, we just talked about the free application for federal student aid. And so that's the actual application. And so we're required by the federal government to set a standardized way that we award work study. And so what we do is we award work study to students who meet a certain criteria, and that's the expected family contribution. And so the federal work study will be a work study award, will be an award on your financial aid package. If it's not there, it means that you didn't qualify, but you can still work on campus. So all the federal work study means is that you're eligible for certain jobs on campus. So we reserve certain jobs for students who have work study eligibility. So for example, all the students who work in the financial aid office have to have that financial aid or that federal work study award. I'm not sure that that is true with admissions. They have positions for students who don't qualify for work study. And so that is where, and work study is like a regular job. And so you go through the same process. You look at all the job postings, which are online. You decide what skills you have, what talents you have, what interests you have. You look for those jobs. You probably will do an interview and get hired. And then that money comes directly to the student in the form of a paycheck. So students are paid every 2 weeks for hourly work. And we recommend students set up direct deposits so that that paycheck goes right into their checking account. They don't have to worry about getting to a bank or anything. And so it's pretty much like a regular job. And that money is available to you to use for whatever you need to use that for. So buy books, pizza on a Friday night. And we recommend that, or we estimate that students, if you work 7 to 8 hours a week while classes are in session, you can earn about $3,000 over the course of an academic year. And so that's the typical work study award amount is $3,000.
And 7 to 10 hours is a lot of hours. You guys, college is going to keep you busy. So we don't want you to overdo it by asking for too many hours. And that's one of the reasons that Leslie in her office has that $3,000. It's usually a good sweet spot for a lot of our students to be able to still handle the academics and be able to work on campus. So This is a great question. If we receive the Pacific Campus Resident Grant, is that for all 4 years? When the kids stay on campus during holiday breaks, are they allowed to continue using their meal plan benefits? And then are the cafeteria open during those break times? So I can answer those cafeteria questions, but if you can answer the Pacific Resident Grant, is that for all 4 years?
Sure. The Pacific Resident Grant is for all 4 years, and so that's guaranteed for all 4 years. That does require you to live on campus for all 4 years. And so if you move off campus, then you won't get that grant. And so it's a great deal. It gives you, you know that you're going to have that resource available to you. And so Gina, I'll let you answer the question about vacations and stuff.
Yeah. So the question was, during holiday breaks, are students allowed to continue staying on campus and using their meal plan benefits? And there are announcements that go out and it allows students to be able to sign up if they want to stay over. We do have meal plans, but they are going to be a little bit more limited in terms of rather than having a full three meal plan all days, it might cut down to maybe 2 meals a day, only because if it's like spring break, I don't know many students who wake up at 8 a.m. when they're on break, they kind of roll out of bed when it's closer to lunchtime. And so we do have students who do stay on campus and you are able to do that. And we will have meal service during those times. But again, like Leslie said, check your emails, and that's going to be something that you'll be hearing for all 4 years at Pacific, is all of those notifications on what the meal plans are going to be that are available for students, when they need to sign up if they do want to stay on campus. All of that will be communicated to the student via email. So they will get that information while they are here, and they're not going to have to try and like, oh my God, I totally forgot about this deadline. You'll get that notification in your email from Housing and Dining. So hopefully that helps answer that question. Does graduating early have any effect on the tuition cost?
It does not. I mean, obviously, if you graduate early, you're not going to have to pay for that semester of tuition. And so we do have a number of students who actually do graduate early. And so, you just save that tuition cost, but there's no reduction on the tuition costs during the semester you're actually in attendance.
Perfect. And when does the federal subsidized loan start accruing again? I think we kind of went over that, but when does the interest start start?
For the federal direct subsidized loan, the interest starts to accrue after a student finishes with school or leaves school. So if you drop out after your first year, that interest, which none of you will, that interest will start to accrue, but it's after the student is out of school. For the unsubsidized loan, the interest is accruing once that loan is dispersed.
Thank you. And my colleague actually gave me a great way to remember that, because I always forget. If you get the unsubsidized loan, you are unlucky because the interest right away. So hopefully that's helped that kind of stuck with me. That should kind of help you remember which ones where the interest will start. And we're kind of slowing down on our questions here. The last question I have is, how do we apply for the Living on Campus grant, so that Pacific Resident Grant? Is there a way for students to apply, or how did families get awarded that?
Sure. The application for that is the Fafsa. And it is a need-based grant. It's designed to help students, fairly high need students with living on campus, because some of those, we know that living on campus is expensive. And so it is a need-based program. And so when you submit your FAFSA, we determine your eligibility for that.
Perfect. I believe I got all the questions that came in. If I missed your question, I do apologize, but I'm kind of looking through and I'm pretty sure we answered them all. I'm going to put a link again there. That was a link to our website, to our Lunch with the Boxer. If you go there, there is going to be a list to our YouTube playlist where you can review this session as well as last week's sessions. Because these are being recorded, we will be posting them. And then you can also see who's going to be next on the list of presentations. Next week, we do have our athletic director, Keith Buckley, coming in and talking a little bit about the sports programs and the athletics on campus. But we also have a Google form on there. So if you have any questions that maybe you forgot to ask during this session about financial aid, you can email financial aid directly, or you can just do it on that Google form and we'll make sure those questions get answered for you. But any future sessions, if you have any questions, we'll go ahead and look at those every week to make sure. We also have an option for you on that Google form to enter in your cell phone number if you'd like a little reminder an hour before the session, like, oh yeah, that's right, we have lunch with the Boxer today. We'll go ahead and text you those reminders as well. So anything else you'd like to add, Leslie, before I let you go off to lunch?
No, I just hope that everyone gets their questions answered. That's what we're here for. And there's never anything like a dumb question.
Yes.
We know that financial aid is complicated and we try and make it as least complicated as possible. But whenever you have the federal government, the state government, and a large institution involved, things are going to get a little bit complicated. So is to uncomplicate all that for you.
Absolutely. And this is a great question. If we forget anything, can our advisors help us? Absolutely. That's what the admissions office is here for. We're kind of like the gateway to all the different resources. So if you're not sure who to ask about a certain resource or topic, go ahead and just reach out to your admissions counselor. Either we'll be able to answer for you or get you into the right direction so you know who to ask those questions to. Thank you so much again, Leslie, for hopping on here. And I know Griffin was on here listening as well. We always appreciate your guys' time, and especially during lunch, but this does here. I am going to share my screen one more time. So next Wednesday, we do have our athletic director again, Keith Buckley, who's going to be hopping in. It is going to be the same exact Zoom link, so you don't have to re-register or anything like that. That's going to be open for you. And then the next thing that we have is, again, we are open for tours for our families. We have been open all throughout. We've been able to have a system set in place so we are able to socially distance. Our tour guides are ready. They have their uniform, as you can see their picture here, and they are so eager to be able to share their experience with you on campus. We do have social media. Go ahead and follow us there. You'll see some updates and kind of life out on campus and what that's going to be like. So we do appreciate you hopping in here. Thank you again so much, everybody, and have a great rest of the day. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.